You were pointing out it's a myth that Jesus was silent on homosexuality, that's somehow an argument for homosexual practice. Pick it up right there.
Yeah, so, obviously that's an argument from silence. So, in the videos, I kind of break it down, not just, making one argument, but I kind of break it down. I mean, that's consistent across the board. But, as we were just chatting during the break, exactly, Jesus actually was not silent in many ways. When he talked about sexual immorality, the Greek word porneia, which obviously sounds a lot like pornography. That's where we get that root, the root from the Greek word porneia, sexual immorality. And in the Greco-Roman world and in the time of first century Israel, porneia covered every form of sexual relationship outside of man, woman, in marriage. Where do we get then man, woman in marriage? So, what I believe as the strongest apologetic for why marriage is between a man and a woman comes right from the words of Jesus, where he says in Matthew 19 and Mark chapter 10, he was questioned by the Pharisees where they're asking about divorce, and Jesus, and they're quibbling over the law, right? Well, what did Moses say? Moses said this, he gave a certificate of divorce, etc. Jesus knew all their arguments. I mean, he's God, and he's like, I'm not going to get into your own quibbling there. I'm not even going to mention the law. I'm going to even go to something that's way more foundational than the law, and that's creation. Jesus quotes from Genesis 1:27 and then Genesis 2:24, where Jesus says, God made them male and female. That's Genesis 1:27. As a matter of fact, that's the image of God verse. And then he said, and the two shall become one flesh. That's going to the next chapter, Genesis 2:24. And then Jesus adds, being God, he can do this. What God has put together, let man not separate. So Jesus was not only answering the question of divorce, he was also schooling them on the definition of marriage. Now, I also hear other people that said, you know what, Jesus was only asked about divorce. We should not read more into this. This is such bad logic because Jesus is never constrained by the questioner. For example, should we pay taxes? Show me a coin. Give, whose inscription is on this coin? Give to Caesar what is Caesar's. Give to God what is God. Jesus, in many cases, diverts it to the more important question, as he was doing here, of not only schooling the Pharisees on why divorce is wrong, but he was schooling them on the definition of marriage. And then even more so, we need to realize this is just simple Christianity, the doctrine of Christianity. Jesus is the second person of the Godhead. He is, as we often will say, the living word. Thus, we call the Bible God's word. Any word that comes out of the Bible, old or the new, doesn't even have to be read, is equivalent to saying that those are Jesus's words. So the whole kind of Jesus' silence argument really completely falls apart when you have actually just a basic, the basic doctrines of Christianity, the inspiration of the Bible. This is God's word, and Jesus is the living word.